But you know, there are certain very surreal situations in which you just laugh because there's nothing else to do. And you're looking at me like, what do you mean? Well, all right, what I mean is, for example, on a Sunday morning, one day the police pulled up at our door, and out jumped 6 policemen carrying a man who had a pigeon stuffed down his throat because he'd bitten its head off. I know, if you just had your dinners. Sorry. Anyway, this guy was purple, and I wasn't a very good nurse, but I did recognise that meant he was just about to die. I think I got an award for that, actually. Purple equals just about to die. So we took him in a room and used a very complex nursing procedure to get the pigeon out of his throat. We hung him upside down and hit him in the back, quite a treat, and got the pigeon off him, and he was fine, and he was admitted, obviously, because he was very well, and said to the policeman in charge, because we had our problems with the local police, I have to say, they weren't the most sensitive guys you could hope to meet sometimes. Said to the local policeman in charge, why didn't you get the pigeon off this guy in the van? Because you found him for like 10-15 minutes and he was just about to die. And this policeman did actually say to me, well, we did get it off him, love, but he made such a noise we shoved it back in again. So, you know, that's the sort of thing that I mean. And I don't think it's been particularly cruel to Pigeon Man, because he had no idea, you know, but you did find yourself in these really weird situations. And then when Fawlty Towers came along, that was like heaven.
Yeah,
really.
Joy.
Yeah, absolute joy. So that sort of thing, really. Monty Python. Although I did get slightly annoyed with boys that I knew who would kind of quote verbatim entire sketches until he went into a coma. No, that was very annoying, wasn't
Leave it now.
Yeah, exactly. Wasn't that great?
Yeah. Sketches with no point. Actually,
Yeah.
we do need an ending on this.
Absolutely.
Idiot.
Though I quite liked Terry Jones naked at the organ.
Yeah,
That was
that's
good,
just
wasn't it?
funny, isn't it? There's nothing wrong with that. So there weren't any particular women, for example, that you admired?
No, I suppose Victoria would, really.
Okay.
And I can't even remember, because we've discussed this between ourselves. We both have hormonal memory fade, don't we?
Yes.
And some days I can't remember husband's name, and other days I look at my children and go, who are they?
Estrogen surges. I'm sure one or two of you will know what that's like. You just can't remember what you've just been. What? Who? It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare on radio. Stick a record on.
When you start off, it is kind of quite weird, because you have no idea, you know, first, second time round, whether people are going to like what you think's funny. I mean, when I first started, I used to think this was hilarious. I used to wear a big white baggy t-shirt, and then just before the compere announced me, I would put a blood capsule in my mouth, and then I would go on and cough what looked like blood all over my t-shirt and go, oh God, must give up smoking. And nobody really laughed apart from me. I used to think it was hilarious every single time.
And they were all, oh God.
And they were probably all lung specialists or something. But yeah, it takes a while. It takes a while to actually develop, you know, your own sense of what's funny. Yeah, I mean, I met a lot of kind of you know, families who were sort of struggling to look after, either it was a husband or a wife, to look after their ill kind of partner. And I'm constantly amazed by how brilliant people are, and how kind of quite selflessly they just devote their entire lives to somebody else and see them through it with very little fuss, you know.
Yeah.
I think if you try to tot up what value those people are financially to society, if those individuals that they're caring for had to be looked after by the state, you would find, you know, absolutely squillions of pounds are being saved by those people being so caring and committed, you know. I kind of wanted to get across the atmosphere that there is within a family who has an ill member like that. Really, it's a kind of devastating thing, you know, and it's very difficult for families, and I don't know how they cope.
And how much of you is in the character of Alice?
Oh, nothing at all, really.
Really?
No, I'm all in the second novel, much to my mother's disgust.
Really?
Yes. Absolutely. That's my teenage years in Hastings, that is. And my mum didn't know anything that was going on, and now she does.
She's as bad as I am anyway, so I've
glad to hear you're bad.
I think we are actually at a natural juncture to sling it. You're staying right where you are, you liar. That we should sling it open to you, that if you have any questions, we'd be more than glad to try and make Joe answer them.
But also, oh, well done, don't feel you've got to, because we were saying yesterday, because we were doing another event, it's like when you go for a job interview and they say at the end, have you got any questions? And you know you should ask something intelligent, because you won't get the job if you go, oh, where's the toilet, or something like that. But honestly, don't feel any obligation, because we really don't mind either way, because we both smoke and we obviously quite like to go out for a fag. So, no, I'm only kidding. No, feel free.
Let's sign some books.
Yes, exactly. Well, let's just assess you as an audience, because I do like to do that. What do you think? They're not very posh, are they? You think they are?
I think they're very, very posh.
I think they're very bright, but not posh. Is that yeah? And that's my favourite sort of person, actually, not posh and bright.
All moved out. We have moved out further out, but not too far.
Yes, exactly. Because when I used to go on tour a few years ago, I always used to play How Posh Are the Audience, and I used to have this thing with me called a wife leader, which is like a woven stick that they used to use in the Caribbean hundreds of years ago, and it had an elasticated end, and they'd lead their wives around by it. Some of the blokes going, oh, can't get one of those in Asda. No, you can't. But I used to hold it up in audiences and try and get them to guess what it was. And I was in Cambridge one night with a really posh audience, right? I've never seen anything like it. And I held this up and said, does anyone know what this is? And a woman at the front went, is it a cassava juice extractor? How mad is that?
Yes.
Quite pathetic. Whereas the following night I was in Warrington, and that's not posh really, is it? And I held up my little wife lead and went, does anyone know what that is? And a bloke at the back went, fat bird with a stick. Kind of served me right, really.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.